If direct negotiations between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin ever take place, Minsk seems like a logical venue for them. As a president, and as a person,
honestly, I'll tell you, I don't want either. I don't have this wishes and desire. Recently, the press secretary spoke about this. Naturally, this was discussed with me. If they want and agree, it's an ideal place for Ukraine and Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump doesn't care where to fly, to Europe or Alaska. It doesn't matter. It's 8 or 9 hours of flight. He can fly to Minsk. If they want, let them come. But Zelensky has long said that Minsk is unacceptable for them. Not because we are bad, not because they think of us as harmful, as they used to. No, not because of that. But because they gathered here before, and well, it turned out not very well for Ukraine. Although I don't know what was bad here for Ukraine in 2015. Volodymyr Zelensky has some kind of phobia regarding Minsk. So I am dealing with all this, and then I think, what will we get from this? Will the welfare of our people improve? I am not sick with this urge to show myself or do it because it's important for the image. Yes, it's important. But probably we will survive and do without it. I really don't have these desires. I do not insist, saying, come to Minsk and so on. If they decide to come for peace talks in Belarus, we can organize it even tomorrow. They will see it. They will be participants. If they don't come to Minsk, they'll come somewhere else. I once said, whether the moon or Mars, anywhere, just to gather and make a decision. You understand, there's a war going on beyond the fence, and it's a terrible thing if this fire spreads here. It's a deadly serious matter. Therefore, we are interested in ending the war. And I advise you not to worry too much. If they come, we'll welcome them, treat them, feed them, and give them drinks. If they want to hear our opinion, we will say it. The first stage is to cease fire. The second stage is a full ceasefire. No movement, no reinforcement of troops or ammunition, as both the Russians and Ukrainians also state. And then a peace agreement. I told Trump, I see it this way. You can combine the two stages, sign a peace treaty, although he might jump straight to the third stage, to the peace treaty. It'll be very complex, but in the meantime, the war continues. And the shooting has to stop. We discussed Ukraine with Donald Trump, and I shared my perspective with him, covering these 3 main points. I said I'm confident that an agreement will be reached. Putin is prepared for this. We've spoken about it extensively. He's quite sensible, normal, and intelligent, and I believe an agreement is within reach. He answered, well, let's hope so. We'll see in due course. I was then quite surprised, and immediately pointed out that in his conversation with Putin, Trump isn't like he appears on TV. They show him speaking with someone translating, but clearly there are translation issues and so on. Trump understands the issues perfectly. He's a completely reasonable person. It's obvious I've enough experience to tell. This is someone who truly understands the situation. If only he had more reliable people around him. His team probably isn't yet strong enough. I think it would be beneficial, especially since he's committed to peace. His recent statement that we are currently far from nuclear war or World War III isn't just words. You see, the West as a whole isn't heading in that direction. That's a positive sign. So behind his words, you can see that it will already be difficult for him to start a war somewhere. But I was quite surprised. The last time they got in touch with me, the Americans, they messaged me on some kind of messenger, or whatever it's called for you. Someone blurted out that if the Americans don't agree with the Ukrainians, Auto 444, then Belarus will side with Russia and invade Ukraine from the north, attacking alongside Russia. 0452. That's impossible. Why would we need that? We've never set such goals for ourselves. We will only fight if someone attacks us. 5-4. And then, we will fight by all means, possible and impossible. So far, Ukraine doesn't seem to be planning to fight against us. Poland is making some foolish moves. But I don't think the Polish people will allow their government or the president to attack Belarus. 05-28. The Poles will never permit it. The same goes for the Baltic states. God willing, they'll soon expel those of our people who've fled to Lithuania. They've even agreed to establish enclaves or some kind of support points for Belarusians there. 05-46. Those poor folks were even taken aback. Well, they should study history. They're worried that we might take Vilnius and similar places. They even floated the idea of creating Belarusian enclaves. Absolute fools. The Russians, of course, are now categorically opposed to foreign troops being stationed there. Today, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov subtly hinted whether Americans or Germans might be in Ukraine. So what's the point? Did the Russians fight for this? They don't need it. 06-17. The focus should be on strengthening the army, arming the Ukrainian forces. Is this a security guarantee for Russia? No. Well, today they agreed that the military shouldn't be in Germany. Chapter 6-31. Remember? No army there. No fleet there. Those things shouldn't happen. What about now? Can Germany have a strong, capable army? 6-39. Right now, there are absolutely no barriers. They've forgotten about that agreement. So it might be the same in Ukraine. They'll agree that there shouldn't be an army or weapons there or anything else, but sooner or later, an army will be established and armed. And what if the Americans supply them with patriots? Will the Russians go to war with America? 7-7. That's why we have to be realistic. Everything will come together eventually. Not in the way we might hope. 7-15. So yes, we will insist to the Russians that this doesn't happen, that Ukraine shouldn't become an aggressive country. 7-21. That it shouldn't be a foothold. Zelensky stated that they don't want China to be a security guarantor. They simply don't want that. Why? Because China didn't prevent the war. Goodness me. Should China have intervened in this conflict and prevented it? You, Zelensky, should have done everything possible to stop the war from breaking out on your territory. 07-47. And if China isn't a security guarantor, if it won't offer such guarantees, then ensuring security worldwide, anywhere in the world, is very challenging. On 807. So before opening his mouth, Zelensky really needs to think things through a little more.